Look alive, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We are the Millie Goats, and currently we are on the road in Buffalo. Um, I am recording this on a Saturday night prior to our normal 9:30 release. So if you're listening to this, we have recorded this in Buffalo. As you notice, the background is different. That's okay. We were not all able to meet on a Sunday night because we'll be going to the game in Buffalo. So if my mic sounds a little off, that's okay. Just know we're up here, Bills Mafia, J-Vi, Bills fan, all that stuff here with boots on the ground to see our buddy, the weapon, um, and watch the Bills play the Dolphins. So, but the show must go on. So I'm in the hotel room, about to go down with J-Vi and BMO from the comments. And we are going to watch football and hang out, get up, go to the game tomorrow. But before we did that, we have convened on the plane ride, which, by the way, on the plane ride, we had a setup. J-Vi and I rode on the plane together. We had two phones going. We had a laptop going. We had three football games going on at once, and it was incredible. I mean, if anybody has ever traveled on a Saturday and you got to travel while the football games are on, you had a nice treat there. So, we're up here in Buffalo. It's a little colder than I thought it would be. Um, but we brought the gear because we're hoping maybe to do some extra interviews with some of the fans down at Bills Mafia. And but we had a little presentation that Java and I talked about on the way up to the tree to Buffalo, where we were going to take. It's absolutely crazy because halfway through the season will be at the end of this week, I believe, which is really scary to say and pretty terrible because it's like, wow, where did all the football go? I mean, we got college football, like I said last show, that there's going to be what, 4 games left maybe after this week before the playoffs and stuff start. So we have to cherish the football that we have right now. But we also have to give out hot takes where we've compiled our thoughts for the first half of the year and then project them to the future because that's what everybody wants to hear. And we know that what we say is super serious and should be taken 100% factual and nonetheless. So without further ado, we've got 5 hot takes that we put together here in a PowerPoint presentation. Um, and we will go over each one of those and explain why they are hot takes. Um, so let's get to it. J-Vi downstairs. I will meet up with him momentarily. I'm watching college football right here in the room, but let's get to it. And hot take number 1, right after the Salute Your Sports intro. Let's go. Here we go. Let's get to some hot takes right now. Man, I'm a little frazzled. I'm all out of my. Usually, I'm sitting in my chair down in my basement, but we're on the road. Uh, and you know, it's kind of like, well, why did you want to bring all your stuff up there? It's like, you know what? I love doing this, and it means a lot to me to keep a consistent schedule and you know make sure that we still uh put out stuff whenever we want to put it out. So and I love doing this. So I like making these graphics and all that stuff. And J-Vi was cool with it. Everybody's cool with it. And so we'll have this thing ready to go. Here we go. Hot take number 1. NFL style. Hot take number 1 is Baker for MVP. And the reason for that is I know that the Bucks are what, 4-4. Um, but this is projecting later in the year. I don't understand why Baker Mayfield has not garnered more respect for an MVP candidacy. And we've got the likes of Patrick Mahomes up there, who is having a statistically terrible year, but people only want to look at all of his wins, look at all of his, they just find ways to win. Therefore, he's the MVP. And it's like, well, okay, if you want to the reason I hate football media and the reason we started this show somewhat is because First of all, college football playoff committee changes their parameters every year, and then now the NFL people seem to do the same thing, and we all know why they're doing it. They're doing it for the views, they're doing it for the clicks, they're doing it for all this stuff, or they have some narrative that's been dropped down to them to portray to the people, like, if Lamar has a bad game, or Mahomes or Josh Allen or somebody, they say, nope, we can't criticize them. They're an elite, untouchable level. We can't criticize. Don't talk about them. They can be terrible, throw 8 touchdowns and only throw 1 touchdown pass in the entire month of October, and then, you know, uh, not have any pushback for it. Or CJ Stroud, who, all of his weapons are gone. Well, turns out he's not playing that great. Jalen Hurts, Matt Stafford, they lose their players, not putting up the numbers that they once did. Now, there is one guy who did. I think he threw for like 340 yards last week. Baker Mayfield lost Mike Evans, lost Chris Godwin. Now, look at all these statistics. So, this is our hot take number 1, Baker Mayfield MVP candidacy right now. Second in passing yards, first in passing touchdowns, interceptions, he's got 9. His ADOT is 6.8. Big time throws 12th. And his completion percentage, I think, is second only behind Jaden Daniels. So, hot take number 1, get now it depends, I guess, on what what Tampa Bay ultimately ends up doing, because I think they're 4-4 right now. But if they end up winning the division or making the playoffs, like, dude, this guy made the playoffs with Jalen McMillan, Sterling Shepard, and a 3-headed running back committee who they don't even know who they are. And if he can do that, pull off a playoff berth, pull off a division championship, dude, Baker Mayfield should be in the driver's seat for a MVP candidacy. Also, his rise back to greatness has been spectacular, because I'm telling you right now, without Baker Mayfield, this team is doo-doo, absolute doo-doo. It's been cool to see. So that's number 1, Baker for MVP. Hot take number 2 for the halfway point of the season. I might be Dookie for brains. Very possible. Could be Dookie for brains. Not sure. But for whatever reason, Macaulay Culkin, Joe Burrow, everybody laughing. That was hysterical. Joe Burrow probably is like, whoa, that's crazy. I watch that dude's movies every year. He dressed up as me. Halloween. Very timely. Macaulay Culkin, Christmas coming out. Everybody knows. Way to make yourself back into the news. Good job. That was hilarious. I can't quit the Bengals. I know they're 3-5, but I saw a stat the other day when the Jets won for 3-6 teams for the last like 3 or 4 years. There's been a 3-6 team that has made the playoffs. Everybody's trying to make it the Jets, but the reality is that it might be the Bengals, because they've been so close. They almost, they were right there with Kansas City. They were right there with Baltimore. Like, there easily could be 5-3. Now, do we think their defense is good? Absolutely not. It's atrocious. But they still have T. Higgins. They still have Jamar Chase. They still have Joe Burrow throwing the football around. And you've got Macaulay Culkin on the side, and it's Christmas time. And I mean, what are you going to do about that? I mean, you can't fight Christmas like have Mariah Carey or something on your side. You can't be having that. So right here, they're going to be playing. They lost Philadelphia, got throttled, but they've got. Like, let's look at the last half of their schedule: Vegas, Baltimore, Chargers, bye, Pittsburgh, Dallas, Tennessee, Cleveland, Denver, Pittsburgh. So they've got Pittsburgh twice, Cleveland once, Baltimore once. So they are 1-1 um, in the division. So the division championship, if they win the 5 divisional games, 2, 3, 4, or I guess 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. They win their divisional games, finish the division 5-1, and they rattle off what? They could beat Vegas, absolutely. Could they beat Baltimore? That's gonna be tough. Could they beat the Chargers? Absolutely. That's 2 wins. Could they beat Pittsburgh? Yeah. Could they beat Dallas? Yes. Could they beat Tennessee? Could they beat Cleveland? Could they beat Denver? I mean, you're looking at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 very winnable games over the last 8 games. So then you're talking 9-7. And depending on what they do in the division, I don't know. Am I an idiot? Yes, I'm probably an idiot that I can't stop trying to will the Bengals. For some reason, I don't even know why. I don't even care about the Bengals. I just think they're the team almost like the Falcons where they had, they had so much talent at certain positions and you just keep being like, the Falcons, hey, the Falcons. I feel like the Bengals are the new Falcons almost. So, I just can't quit them. I cannot quit them. I think that they're gonna end up somehow making a push to the playoffs. So, that's hot take number 2. Call me an idiot. I don't care. I don't think the Steelers are for real. Baltimore has had some terrible losses. So, I mean, Baltimore is playing Denver this week. I mean, if they lose, they're 5-4. And then you're telling me the Pittsburgh Steelers are gonna run away with this. There's no way. There is no way that's gonna happen. Absolutely not. So, okay. That's hot take number 2. Number 3, Cowboys won't get to 7 wins. Hot take number 3, NFL second half of the year, Cowboys are not getting to 7 wins. Absolutely not. We've already seen how abysmal they've been so far. The Browns, they win that game. I was like, yeah, yeah. Saints got smoked. Ravens got smoked. Beat the Giants. Beat the Steelers. Crushed by the Lions. Crushed by the Niners. So now we got their bye's done. So now they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games left. Let's go through this. This is why they won't get to 7 wins. At Atlanta? No, I don't think so. Even though Atlanta can't pressure the quarterback, we know that. Do we think Dak Prescott's going to go down to Atlanta after what we saw they did against 49ers, and they think they're just going to CD and Dak their way through to another 7 wins? Absolutely not. Cowboys are bums. They were all in. Jerry Jones said it. Apparently, they're not all in. Who knows what they are? Who cares? They stink. It doesn't even matter if Micah Parsons and Lawrence are playing. Who cares? And Deron Bland. I mean, they're going to get those players back eventually, but by that time, they might have 6 losses, 7 losses. Who knows? Let's look at it. I mean, Zeke's missing games for conduct is detrimental to the team or whatever it is. So we got the Falcons. Then you think they're going to beat the Eagles? Yeah, I don't know about that. Eagles are playing pretty damn good football. We got the Houston Texans. We think they're going to win that game. Shout out game for Shrine Bowl for Texas right there. Texas State Championship on the line. We think they're going to win that one. Excuse me, hold on. I don't think so. Well, the Texans don't really look that good, but I think their team's better than Dallas. At the Commanders, I mean, we're looking at maybe 4 losses in a row. That puts them at what, 3-8? The Giants, they could beat them. That's 1. Cincinnati, I don't know. I'd take Cincinnati. I bet you Vegas would take Cincinnati right there. So they could beat the Giants. They could beat the Panthers, who they play after the Bengals. Buccaneers, we just said Baker should be in the MVP candidate. So I don't think they win that game. I mean, they can't win at home. When's the last home game they won? They haven't. They've lost 3 in a row. They've been blown out at home 3 games. So I mean, they used to be good at home, not anymore. So we think they'll beat the Giants, they'll beat the Panthers. That's 2 wins. That'll give them to 5. They're gonna beat the Bucks. I don't know. They're gonna beat the Eagles at Philadelphia? No. They're gonna beat the Commanders. Maybe. So let's say they 2 to 3 wins. Giants, Panthers, yes. All these other games, these other 6 or 7, 8 games, no. They will be not favored in all those games. So that gets them to about 5 to 6 wins in my estimations. Cowboys aren't getting to 7 wins. I don't care about we them boys, whatever. The season's over. It's done. That's hot take number 3. Looking ahead. We're looking ahead here. We're looking ahead to the next half of the season. Let's get bold. Hot take number 4. Passing is dead in the NFL. Throwing the football. Yes, used to be cool. Used to be zip it around. Used to be get the ball out, pick and pop and pick, whatever you want to call it, zip it around the field. Yeah, but let's take a look here. Is passing the football really the way to go? And I don't really have a counterpoint to this. I was just looking up passing yards and like, holy moly, all the people who are leading the league in passing are not division leaders for the most part. Geno Smith, leading the league in passing. Baker Mayfield, second in passing. Not division leaders. C.J. Stroud is a division leader. He's right there. Aaron Rodgers, who's fourth, not a division leader. Kirk Cousins, yes. So you've got 2 out of the top 5 who are division leaders. Brock Purdy's fifth, sixth. He's not leading. Lamar. So far, half of them are, half of them aren't. Burrow's not. Dak Prescott's not. Trevor Lawrence is not. Josh Allen is. Jaden Daniels is. Jared Goff is. Kyler Murray is. But Mahomes is. So most of the guys who are throwing, not for, or who are leading the divisions, are not throwing for that many yards outside of Lamar, Kirk, and C.J. Stroud. So the other 5 are in the bottom half of passing yards. Now that makes sense because if you're winning games, you're not really going to be throwing the football a lot. But it also begs the question, is running the football back? Is the running back back? Look at the division leaders. Buffalo, pretty good run game, pretty good defense. Chiefs had a good run game with Pacheco, and they have a really good defense. AFC North, the Joe Mix or AFC South, Joe Mixon, pretty good running back. AFC North, Steelers, they run the football a lot, don't they? And Lamar, and they, yeah, well, Lamar's not leading the division. So wait a minute, we had Kirk Cousins, CJ Stroud are the only top dudes out of the 2. The other 6 division leaders, they don't even have one of the Steelers guys on here, I guess. The other 6 division leaders, not even in the top half of the thing. So Jaden Daniels and Washington, they run the ball pretty effectively. So you go down here and you look, Kyler Murray and James Conner's having a pretty good year. The Lions, yeah, they can run the football, but I mean, all the quarterbacks, I mean, it makes sense if you have the lead, you're not going to be throwing the ball that much. What I'm saying is it better to go run in defense first? Is that back? Is old school football back? That's what we want to know. Is old school football back? That's all that matters. So, but that's neither here nor there. It's just I was looking and laughing because I'm like, well, I guess it makes sense. If you're down, you're going to throw the football more, which means you're probably not winning too many games. But it was just funny. It was like people who are leading the league, the way people are winning football games is not through the air, unless you're C.J. Stroud or you're Kirk Cousins. Those are the only 2 in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In the top 10, there are only 2 quarterbacks. The top 10 passing yard leaders, there's only 2 quarterbacks who are division leaders. Most of them are in the 10 to 20 range. So very interesting. But we love that because we love old school football. Bring old school football back. Do it. All right. Hot take number 5. If you want to win the Super Bowl, win the turnover margin. This is going to be another very indicative stat of success in football, which I love because all the other shows are going to get up there and tell you, you got to have a superstar this, you got to have a dippity do that, and a bippity bee, and a whippity boo. No, here's what you need: turnover differential. Because I say this every single year. I go back and I look at all the Super Bowl teams, all this stuff. I think the only exception was last year with the Chiefs. Their turnover differential was not that good, and it's not even that good this year. I don't think. Where are they at? Kansas City. Are they even on there? Kansas City. I don't even see them on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 6, 7, 28. Yeah, they're not even on there. Wait, unless I missed them. If somebody sees this and knows what Kansas City's is, please tell me. So, because I don't see it on here. I must have cut it off. But if it's not on there, then obviously it was not that great. Buffalo, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Green Bay, LA, Chicago, Minnesota, Houston, San Francisco, Washington, Baltimore, New Orleans, Arizona, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, Miami, New York, Cleveland, Philadelphia, Seattle, Jacksonville. Oh, wait. Yes, it is. I know where it's at. It's just below Cincinnati. I think it got cut off. It's just below Cincinnati. So I don't think they're in positive. Yeah, I don't think they're positive. So anyways, every year I go back and I look and I'm like, this is a stat that is absolutely huge for teams that have success in the playoffs. And you could check it yourself. Go look at the turnover margin. Look at the teams that go deep in the playoffs the last like 10 years. Teams who get the ball and have a huge turnover differential usually are very good and go very deep in the playoffs, and they're represented well in the Super Bowl. I'm not just making that up, and I'm not going to present to you the data. Go look it up yourself, and it's proven to be right here in front of your face or in your ear hole. Buffalo leads the league right now at plus 11. Detroit is second with plus 10. Pittsburgh is plus 10. Green Bay is plus 7. LA Chargers plus 6, Chicago plus 5, Minnesota plus 5, Houston plus 4, San Fran plus 4, Washington plus 4, Baltimore plus 2, Arizona plus 1. So most of the division leaders are up there in the top: Buffalo, Detroit, Pittsburgh, uh, um, Houston, Washington, Arizona. Like Atlanta is 0. Kansas City's down there at 0 or below. But, most of these teams that are leading their division have a very positive turnover differential. And so when you're looking at this, you're looking at later in the season, trying to predict a Super Bowl winner, you have to look at that number. You have to. Otherwise, you're doing it wrong. So just heed the word there. Heed the word as you're going down. If you bet or you do whatever, you take a look at the turnover differential and who's doing what. Trust me. Just go look it up, do your research. So that's all the hot takes that I have, the 5 that we have convened. We have put these together. Again, let's go back to the beginning. Number 1, Baker for MVP for obvious reasons. Stats are all there. Number 2, I can't quit the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to make the playoffs. They have a chance to even win the division. I might even say it. Who cares? Cowboys may not get to 7 wins. I believe that. I don't think they do anything well enough. They cannot run the football. They cannot stop the run. They're a one-trick pony. CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott. Passing is dead in the NFL. Bringing back old school football. All the people who lead the league in passing are not division winners right now. There's 2 out of the top 10 are division leaders. The rest of the quarterbacks are in the bottom 10 to 20. The number 5, win the turnover margin. If you get the ball from the other team and you give it to your team, you then have a better chance at success to score more points. And if Josh Allen's not throwing picks and Buffalo is getting the ball to him that many times, that's a problem. So, anywho, this was a very short episode, and that's okay. Very short episode. We're on the road, right? Remember, this is now, let's say it's Sunday night. I'm recording this on a Saturday, but it's Sunday and Monday morning on the podcast. So, I forgot to put the hold on. I forgot to put the there we go. Yeah, let's get that out there. So anyways, this was something we needed to do, right? We have to give these hot takes. We couldn't do a live show. That's okay. We appreciate everybody tuning in. But this is what it's all about, right? We want to make sure we get these things out on the internet, let people know what we're about. So here we go. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you have a good Sunday night. I hope you have a good Monday morning. We'll be traveling back Monday morning, so the podcast still is out. And thanks for tuning in for the top 5 takes. We're going to be back on schedule next week, Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. for live shows, Sunday, 9:30 p.m. And we'll return to doing the Thursday night recap, Pick'em parlay, or the Pick'em contest. We got to do that. And then check for the podcast, subscribe to the podcast anywhere you find it. It's available at Apple, Spotify, and the best thing, like in anything that you guys could do for us, if you enjoy the material, we just want to laugh, folks. That's all we want to do. We're here to laugh. Don't take us too serious. All these hot takes are just absolutely nonsense, and that's okay. Right. Thanks for tuning in. Just know we were at the Bills game, and we appreciate it. Go like and subscribe to the podcast. That's the only way that helps us the most. Everyone have a good one.